There are literally hundreds of parts that go into the construction of a new home. To piggyback off my short video, which is linked down below, I'm going to dive into just 5 items that go into a new construction home. Hi, I'm dale.frazell and welcome to my channel. If you've ever walked into a new construction home, depending on what phase it's in, and you're going to notice more obviously than just 2x4s. Some of these items really don't have a lot of impact or value to you as the homeowner, but I just think it's interesting to point out things that maybe you might notice or look at not sure what it is. Well, in this video, I'm going to basically explain the things that I see that might be of interest to you. Let's go. Number 1, stub out brackets for water lines. Well, in this particular picture, you can see that there's like a steel bracket that goes in between the studs, and then you'll have a red and a blue line coming out. Those are your water lines. Those are the PEX lines. So here's a little thing that I would notice if I'm out looking at new construction. If I see water lines, that hot and cold PEX lines, I know obviously there's some kind of plumbing fixture there. So now I'm in the kitchen, I can tell by where it's mounted, that center island right there is going to be where the kitchen sink will be located, and also cabinets and the dishwasher. The dishwasher is always located close to the kitchen sink itself. So that's a good indicator when you see that bracket with those pipes there. Those brackets also prevent that old-fashioned clunking when you used to turn the water on and off. Now I know things have really improved over the years. A lot of times that was caused by hot water pressure going back, and now they have bladders in there that prevent that smacking. But PEX piping has been used for a number of years, and one of the reasons too, it doesn't split like copper pipes. It actually expands. So you have two things that I'm explaining there: the brackets for the plumbing and also the water lines itself. Remember, red is for hot, blue is for cold. Number 2, ice maker water hookup. Most homes being built today, a lot of times they will have that little box. It's usually lower to the ground where your refrigerator will tie in, and that's where you get the water for your ice maker and even cold water. That's usually the standard. However, if your builder doesn't offer that, you might check in to see that if that's an option that you can upgrade, because if you do buy a nice refrigerator without a water connection, it's going to be a hassle. It can be done, but it's really going to be a hassle. So it's better now to catch that. So you can see that little box, that's where your refrigerator is going to tie in. If you buy a new refrigerator, most of the time where you've bought that refrigerator, they offer a service to actually have them not only deliver it to the site, but to bring it into the home and then hook it up. I can't tell you how many times in the past that homeowners brought in a refrigerator only to have either a water leak or ruin the floor. So if you're going to use a delivery service and they're going to install it, what I recommend that you do, first, before that refrigerator is even brought into the house, take pictures of what that refrigerator looks like outside, let's say out in the driveway. When they bring that into the house, I use cardboard to put under the wheels of that refrigerator. Now, let's say you have laminate floors or you have LVL floors or hardwood floors. It doesn't matter. I've seen so many different floors screwed up because of those wheels. When they come in with that refrigerator, don't forget it's heavy, and now they start twisting and then turning it, it can mar up the floor. So, cardboard, you just lay them down in front as they go. Another thing that I'm going to suggest too, where they're going to put that refrigerator, you take pictures. Take pictures of the floor, take pictures of the countertop, take pictures of the cabinet, and even if you want, take a little video of them coming through the front door. So if anything happens, there's no disputing that. You've already have it on record and you can go back to it. So you do that, you let them install it, and if there is a leak, it's on them. So that's just a word of caution. I've seen it way too many times. People think they can save, I don't know, I think it might have been $50 to install it. It's the best insurance that you can buy having those guys do it themselves. And if it's messed up the refrigerator, you just send it back and they bring you another one. Number 3, truss plates or gang plates. These are used to connect all the truss points together. Now, trusses are not made out on site. They're actually made at the truss plant. So when you're having a house designed and then it goes to the truss plant, they actually have a big table where they lay this all out. Well, in order to make all these 2-bys that they're tying together, they use these gang plates or truss plates. They're like big staples. They push them together and it ties everything together. They're on both sides. They don't use the old-fashioned nails. This is just a quicker assembly. Then they ship them out to the site where then the framer will usually typically have either a crane or some sort of lift to lift them up, because they're pretty good size overall and wide and long. So you need some help doing that. And then they stack them up there and then eventually they'll set them. Another thing too that I really want to mention to people is that trusses, you never modify. If you're ever thinking about going up and cutting that truss to put, let's say, an attic access, you better have an engineer coming out and doing that, because once you start cutting that webbing on a truss, you're asking for a world of hurt. But trusses typically run from front to back, side to side. And the reason I say that is because that's where they bear, on the exterior walls. So a lot of times those interior partitions, you can actually modify a little bit. But don't be doing anything just because I say you can do it. You need to have someone verify that. Now the other thing too, when you look at that gang plate up there, that truss plate, and you see it, the lowest point, that's where your sheetrock is going to be hanging from. It's typically only a 2x4, so they're not putting a lot of weight. You put the sheetrock up there, it's called the lid, and then above that you'll blow on the insulation up there. So that's how that whole structure works. And not only that, that's where they'll run HVAC up through that webbing. They don't cut it. And if you've ever been out to a site and you've noticed someone cut a truss, that is an immediate red flag that should be brought to someone's attention. But the subs know that. They don't mess with that. So that's kind of an overview, not only of the plates, but the trusses themselves. I like to pause for a moment just to clarify a couple things. I don't work for builders directly. I work for buyers. I sell to builders' homes, but I work for buyers from the very start of construction all the way through the process to the end to close. Let's continue. Number 4, 8-foot patio sliding door. Now, a lot of homes, especially today, how they're being built, is they will actually have, or they offer an 8-foot tall sliding door. The standard is 6'8". That's been around forever, but now they're going to that larger patio door. The reason being too, it's allowing more light into the home itself. It allows you to see the backyard. It's more aesthetics than anything. But I can tell you this, that it does bring an additional value. It catches people's eyes when you walk into new construction. It just is far more of an open area, so it's just more appealing. And it's built to today's standards. Typically, you'll have low E film in it, and also thermal paint, and some are even up to triple paint. So it's a good value overall, and it does add to the house. And by the way, if you found this video to be helpful, hit that like button. It helps spread this video to other people who can also benefit from it. Number 5, crawl space. If the subfloor that you're standing on, as shown in my short video, is wood, then it has a crawl space, unless it's on sleepers. In previous videos, I've talked about the benefits of crawl spaces as opposed to a slab. Check out my video on 10 essential upgrades. In my opinion, I find that crawl spaces offer more options. Access to get underneath if you have to make any kind of, I don't know, let's say additional wiring you want to run to somewhere. I know a lot of things are wireless, but let's just say you need access. And also, it can be insulated. A lot of codes require that to be completely insulated. So you're making a very good shell all around. You have insulation in the ceilings, the walls, and the floor. So it actually adds for the energy savings overall. A lot of times builders, it depends on what part of the country you're in. Slab might be the standard and an upgrade would be to a crawl space. I always recommend crawl space. It's just easier overall, and this is a lot what I mentioned in my previous videos, but as we're talking about this right now, I've never had anybody come back and say, oh, we don't want to buy the house because it has a crawl space. Slab, yes, it's very hard overall. So a crawl space is always a big plus. There's a lot of benefits to it, and it gives you additional storage on it too. Thanks so much for watching this video. And I hope you did learn something today. And if you did, please subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one.